How are you
Uh,
today?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Just finished working. How about you?
Oh, I completed a couple of hours back, so I was just free, just relaxing myself, posting some news on the magazine. So I'm good, thank you.
That's awesome.
So how's the weather over there? All good there?
Yeah. The weather is great. It's getting very, very hot. Summer is coming.
Wow.
I don't know how about there.
Oh, it's monsoon here, so it's rain now and then, so it's not bad.
Uh,
Summer's over here.
okay. Yeah.
So, Nicola, on May 19th, you released your single, The Ivory Tower. So, can you tell me a bit about this song and the production behind this?
Yes, of course. So let's talk about the technical stuff first. The song was produced by our friend and producer Jonathan Mazzeo, who works for The Grid Europe. He's a collaborator of Christian Donaldson, who
Mhm.
works in Canada with bands such as Shadow of Intent, for example.
Yeah.
And we worked with Johnny on our EP as well. We recorded the stuff at home because there were still some difficulties with moving because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And I was the only exception. I recorded the vocals in studio. So he reamped, mixed, and then Christian Donaldson did the master on that song. Um, and it is a song that was born actually a couple of years ago, the first idea.
Gotcha.
Then we worked so much on it because it's been a time of change for us since we're a new band
Yeah.
and we come from uh, different lineup. And this song was written mainly by me and our guitarist who came up with the main riff, the one in the verse that goes ta 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 ta
Yeah.
ta ta ta. The thrashy riff, our guitarist Gabriele. And it's a song that talks about well, it comes from the ivory tower figure. So this place of happiness and peace, but isolation,
Mhm.
where people detach themselves from the rest of the world. Um, and we see that as the ultimate goal, where you realize and you achieve your inner peace. And we think that is unreachable because we are thrown into a world where there are many different inputs, and before we know it, we are stuck on things such as money, um, and we eager for success. We work our whole life, and then we get to the point where we're free and we can finally find our ivory tower, that we are old and we die, you know.
Yeah, it's a nice concept that was set behind. Really good.
Mm-mm-mm.
And going forward, like, do you have a plan to have a full-length album that goes along with the Ivory Tower?
No, actually we don't. Right now what we want to do is build our portfolio of music through singles. um, Also due to what the music industry is suggesting right now.
Mhm.
You know that people pay attention less and less. So what we want to do is give the maximum exposure possible to every single song
Yeah.
we release, and keep people thrilled. And we want to reach recognition so that no one can ignore us anymore. Slowly, if it's going to be slow, but that's what we want to do for now. For now, of
That's
course,
a,
we think about a full-length album.
yeah. That's a good planning, I would say, for this time. It's really a good planning. And last year you released your first debut EP, Theia. So how was the EP went on, and how successful do you feel about that EP?
I think for a first start, and the way we did it, because we basically promoted the EP ourselves. So it was done in a very underground way.
Yeah.
It was pretty successful, and we were satisfied with the results. Would we do things differently right now? Of course we would, but that's part of experience. You learn only this way, and I'm glad that now we think that we would have done things differently, because it means that we are evolving as a band.
Yeah.
We're still proud of what we did, very much.
Sounds good, Nicola. And Nicola, like last year, you guys made a beautiful classical rendition of the Christmas song "Carol of the Bells." So,
We
how did you
did.
come up with that idea, and why did you want to do something like that?
Oh, that's a fun story. So the previous year in 2019, we were invited, last minute invited, to play a concert in a club in Milan, which is pretty big for music in Italy as a city. And it was Christmas party. So every band was supposed to bring a couple of their songs and the Christmas cover that that we had to come up with quickly, and just look at how the song was arranged, change it up a little bit. So Carol of the Bells was very dark already, and with this very haunting melody. So what we did was pull it off. We prepared it in, I don't know, a week or so, really quickly, because we really wanted to play this concert. And after then, we said, hey, the people, the crowd loved it. We had fun doing it. Why not recording it? So we went into the studio, and Johnny again helped us very much, also with the orchestration.
Yeah.
I did myself as many vocals as an entire choir, pretty much, hitting from bass to soprano.
Wow.
Had a lot of fun doing that, and that's the result. Go check it out. People who are watching this interview, go check it out on our Spotify.
That's amazing, Nicola. And Nicola, can you tell me how this all started for you guys?
Just the band, how this.
Yes, how the band evolved and how.
Okay. Yeah, of course. So Kalahari was born in 2015. Really, the first lineup came around in 2015, when the guys, I wasn't there back then. I wasn't in the band. Started rehearsing a bit in rehearsals room, in the studio, and just playing as friends, playing some covers. But then after a few years of small concerts and a little demo tape, there was a lineup change. The old singer left, and also Kalahari needed a different guitarist, which is Gino. I met Gino at a party. We talked about metal, and one day he calls me and he goes, hey Nico, I joined a band and they're looking for a singer, why don't you come and try out? So I tried out. At first I wasn't really sure about the style of the band, because I didn't really like dirty vocals back then, and they weren't very sure about me, because I looked a bit hipster for them. And after a while, though, we tried it out, and we became friends really quickly. And in 2017, at the end of 2017, practically 2018, we started playing together. Our first concert was in 2018, and here we are.
Sounds good, Nicola. And Nicola, Italy has a lot of great musicians over the years, and there's a huge music scene there. So how is it like starting a new band in Italy, and how do you feel to promote your music, and how do you think things can work out for you guys?
I think for metal, things looked a bit grim for a while in Italy. Because although there is a scene, as you're saying, we are way back, especially when it comes to festivals, compared to countries like the UK or the United States, or also France and Spain. In France, you can find Hellfest, which is huge, Resurrection Fest in Spain. But now, I think rock in general is coming a little bit back into the trend. And here locally, in our region, which is called Emilia-Romagna, the underground scene for punk, hardcore, and metal is pretty active. So I think positively about the future, and that is why we need to work, and work again.
Sounds good, Nicola. And Nicola, would you like to share some of the greatest moments that you had over the years?
Oh, with Kalahari, of course. So I was talking about the studio earlier.
Yeah.
That's just an experience that I suggest to any young musician out there. It makes you grow very much. Invest your time and invest it onto professionals, people who know what they're doing, because that teaches you very much and enriches you more than anything else. So that's one suggestion, and that's one experience that really touched all of us, and we loved it. Just staying all together in a studio for 10 days, thinking about music the whole time, diving deep into the experience. Then, of course, concerts. We opened a gig for Nanowar of Steel, which is an Italian band that just recently signed with Napalm Records, and they're really fun to watch. We were honored to open for them, and that was probably the best gig we did because the crowd was huge. It was also a carnival party, so everyone was dressed up funny. I was dressed as a cook, as a chef, and it was pretty epic. And also, you know, different parties when someone gets drunk, the other ones play pranks on them. It's always fun. Those are the fun moments you remember. And we are all looking forward to make some newer, greater memories in the future.
Sounds good, Nicola. And Nicola, Kalahari is not going to be a band that's going to stick only to Italy. I know in the future it's going to go to a global reach. So what would be your plans or milestones to take the next step?
Okay, so touring is definitely one of the goals we have. But you have to start one step at a time. So right now, a small tour in Europe would be amazing. And it would be great to be able to open for someone that, just a band that we love. That's also a goal we have. And as it is now, we're still creating our fan base. So a goal, what gives us real satisfaction is seeing, you know, people becoming part of our family. So our goal is to grow our fan base as much as possible. And as you say, we don't care about a specific country. Wherever our music gets, if it leaves you something, that's good for us. No matter if you're yellow, white, black, or blue, we don't care. You're all part of Kalahari family if you want to.
Sounds good, Nicola. And Nicola, talking about the name of the band, is it got something little bit the desert Kalahari, or you guys?
Yeah.
All right. It's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. Kalahari, so big desert in the central southern part of Africa, and it's a peculiar desert because it's not completely dry all the time. It rains there. There are different areas. There are very cool animals that inhabit Kalahari. Also, more fun facts. Probably the first men of our species, of Homo sapiens, are originated in that specific area. But let's talk about the name specifically, because the name Kalahari in the Tswana language, which is a tribal language, means land of great thirst.
Oh.
And you know why? It's also a geological thing, because the soil there, even if it rains, it absorbs the water and it just takes it away from life before it can be drank by animals and before it can help plants grow. And for us, this is just a metaphor of the world we live in, the society that we built. And the ivory tower is, the symbol is much connected to the meaning of our name in this sense. You know, it rains in our world. Opportunities and different chances rain upon us, especially if you live in developed countries, all the time. We are exposed through social media and TV to so many different things, so many different models, that we get lost. We tend to get lost, and before we understand how to grasp onto something, how to take what is ours, the same system that gave it to us gives it to someone, gives it to someone else, and we can't get it anymore. So this is the simile in between the Kalahari Desert and what the meaning we give it to it is, basically.
That's very interesting, Nicola. Really interesting topic on that one.
Nice.
Yeah. And talking about music, so what would be your genre? It's going to be the same kind of genre, or are you going to be doing some kind of experimental kind of music going forward?
Okay, good question. We always like to experiment. If you listen to our songs, there is a common line, but they're all a bit different. Mainly because we think it's fun. You know, there are bands who are great, but after a while, they sound the same. And we don't want to fall into that. We want to find a midway in between having our own identity, but also giving always something new to the listener. Our genre, it's a bit hard to, you know, give it a single genre, but I would say we have a melodic groove death metal, kind of. There's some prog stuff in there, but what's the point of giving all those names in 2021? You know, there are so many different influences. Metal is so fluid, and this is what I love about it mostly. I listen to pop, I listen to country, and I listen to metal, and metal is the music I love the most. So I think the capability of a musician is taking bits of different music, different genres, and using them to the advantage of the music that he's making. So this is how I think about it, and what the guys in Kalahari think.
Sounds good. And there may not be a lot of people around the world who might be knowing Kalahari. So through this interview, how do you want to introduce Kalahari to the people who are going to listen going forward?
So Kalahari is a fresh Italian band who also respect the classics of the past. You know, we have some influences from newer music to older music. We are eager to create a fan base. We are very humble, and throughout our social media, you can message us. We would be glad to answer any question and just make you part of our family. This is what matters most to us. And of course, bringing you good metal, every time better. This is pretty much what I have to say.
Sounds good, Nicola. And Nicola, like we have seen, the music has been ever evolving since the beginning of time. Like we had guys like Jimi Hendrix and Black Sabbath to the modern day rock and metal bands. So it keeps evolving and is bringing a lot of new genre. So what, according to you, is the best genre, or how do you feel music is to you?
Okay, so of course, the best genre to me is metal, because it's what I love the most, what gives me the best feelings, I just feel the emotion very much. My favorite subgenre really changes very often. Right now, I'm more into melodic metalcore, which I have never been before, but I just go here and there. And my opinion is that as long as it makes you feel something and makes you feel good, or even bad, because sometimes it's okay to feel bad, it's the right music for you, it's really a subjective question, but in my opinion, I'll go with metal.
Sounds good. And there may have been a lot of icons and great members from the band who has been a lot of influences to you. But in the future, if you want to play with some band, what would that band be?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, my personal dream would be playing with Metallica.
That's awesome.
But if I had, yeah, it is, because they've been my idol since I was a child. But if I had to choose a band for Kalahari, there are many newer bands that have great sound and great potential, such as Orbit Culture from Scandinavia, Bleed From Within from the UK, or also Silosis from the UK are great. Gojira right now is very big.
Yeah.
So those are a few of the bands that we would love to be on the same stage with.
Sounds good. And Nicola, finally, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and know more about Kalahari. And moreover, do you have a message for the fans and the readers around the world?
Of course. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to meet you and be a part of this project you have, which is just noble. Bands like us really appreciate people like you who take time to promote us and dive into what we do, and it gives us great satisfaction. And the message that I have for people out there is do what you love. Do what you love, listen to yourself, and listen to the others less. This is what finally wants to say to you with our music. Leave out what's vain and reach for what matters the most in life.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicola, and thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, Nicola, for your time, and thanks for giving beautiful music. And I wish you and the entire band all success in the future. And we will talk more in the coming days. We can do a lot of things together.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah,
Stay metal.
Stay metal.